Watch this first before you send that style to your dressmaker for your next event. If you want to avoid what I ordered versus what I got, stay tuned, relax, grab a cup of tea and enjoy.
Once in a while I dream. Once in a while I think of you.
In today's video, I'll be giving you tips on how to avoid what I ordered versus what I got. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Ebitimi and you are on the right channel. Today I'm talking about tips that you can use to avoid a situation of what I ordered versus what I got. If you do not know what that means, here we go. What I ordered versus what I got simply means you saw a beautiful, now in relation to fashion design, of course, you saw a beautiful dress design or whatever on the internet or on a fashion designer's page, and then you took a screenshot and sent it off to another designer to recreate the look, and you got disappointed. So that's how what I ordered versus what I got came about, because there are numerous stories on the internet where people are complaining about sending dresses or styles to their designers and getting horribly disappointed. So if you do not want that to be your story, sit back, relax, and let me give you some tips on how you can avoid these situations. Now, some might wonder what qualifies you to give us these tips. Yes, I'll toot my own horn a little bit. Since I was a little girl, I've been in an environment where I have worked with fabrics, with designs, with clients, because my amazing mom was into the fashion business. So it was more like a chore. We had no choice but to all participate in the business. So from that time, I would deliver brides' outfits, go style the brides on behalf of my mom, and go fabric shopping, go to Balogun, go to Aba, go to the different places where we would shop for fabrics. So I did that as a growing girl, and then ended up starting my own fashion brand. And so I can tell you a thing or two on what you can do to avoid being in that kind of situation. I mean, the situation of what I ordered versus what I got. So I would speak from the point of view of the fashion designer first, and then I would go into you as a client. How can you avoid this situation? So as a fashion designer, dressmaker, tailor, whatever you would like to address yourself as, one of the things that you need to understand and know are your capabilities. What is your skill set? What do you know how to make? And be honest with yourself. When you have an order for something that is beyond your skill level or your skill grade or your skill set, please refer it to someone else or just do not accept the order. It's as simple as that. Just do not accept the order. If you know that you're going to accept an order that it will be challenging for you, then you need to put in the work to learn how to make that style before you put scissors to the client's fabric. Honestly, there are things that clients will bring to you and maybe you haven't done it before, so it might be challenging for you. You can get a cheap fabric and practice the style on yourself and see how it turns out before you proceed to making that style for the client. That's one part of it. So understanding your skill set, know what you're good at and what you are not, and be honest with it. Don't be too greedy. Don't be too, greedy. That's the word. Don't be too greedy to the point that you damn all the consequences and go ahead to accept a project that you know you would not be able to execute. That's a no-no. Another thing you need to do is to do a proper analysis of the style that was sent to you. Know what it will entail in terms of the time you need to put in to make that project, and also the fabrics required. Man hours, the fabrics, and everything you need, the tools you would need to execute that project. If you assess test it properly. You would know if it's something you're able to do. So for instance, I'm in Australia right now, and there are some projects I just cannot realistically take on. So those fully beaded outfits and all of that, I cannot put in that time to do. Now that doesn't mean I cannot bead. Of course I can, but realistically, I don't believe that the people will be willing to pay me what will be due me, that will be commensurate to the amount of hours I'll put into beading an outfit. I don't know if you get what I mean. In Nigeria, you have access to not necessarily cheap labor, but more affordable labor, where you finish the main body of the dress and you outsource the beading to other people who are professional beaders, and that's all they do. So they have everything in place, they are faster and all of that. So they do all that and the project is completed. Unfortunately, I do not have access to all that manpower. So what do? I do not accept those projects, or I suggest alternatives. Hand beading, every bead in place. So I would rather get maybe beaded appliques, or just play around with the design to produce something that is equally as beautiful, but maybe not with those exact beads. Now it's important for you to explain exactly what you're going to do if you're going to make changes. So there are some fashion designers that have decided that they would not replicate another person's design without adding their touch to it. I love to add my own touch to anything that I'm doing. So yeah, I would explain what I'm doing to the client and get feedback. Make sure the person understands exactly what they're expecting. Yeah, a few times I've had miscommunications here and there, but it's very important that to the best of your ability, you communicate what you're doing to your client and record. In fact, I cannot emphasize that enough. You need to keep record of the agreements you have reached between you and the client, so there are no stories that touch tomorrow. Very important. Another thing I will talk about is that you need to charge the right amount for the project. That way you are not cutting corners, So if a client brings a project to you to execute and you realize that if you charge a certain amount, it might be maybe a bit too much for the client, so you want to reduce it, and then you begin to think of how to manipulate things, use cheaper fabrics, use just substandard materials, just so that it's within that budget range. I've tried that before and I tell you, it's not worth it. Don't do it. Do not do it, because at the end of the day, the client will not remember that they were haggling and telling you that they can't afford it, and when you suggested alternative fabrics, cheaper ways of going around the project, they accepted it, and then the outcome was not what they wanted. So it's important that you stick with the original price. Don't cut corners. Don't look for cheaper fabrics. Stick with it. And if the person insists, please record it, put it in writing, have evidence to prove that this is what the person requested and you did exactly that. That's another important thing to do. So now, clients do this a lot, where they come with a design that will not be flattering on their figures, because we are all shaped differently. But sometimes you try to communicate this to a client and they are adamant, they just want what they want. They bring you a style, and sometimes, I don't know, on my own, I just sit back and I'm like, this style you're bringing, this person modeling this style looks nothing like you in terms of your body type. So how do you want this to suit you? But you have to be very smart and emotionally intelligent in the way you communicate this to your client, so they don't feel like you're body shaming them in any way. Sometimes they would insist on what they want. You go with it, but let them know that there's what I say is, what you're going to get will not look like what you see in the photo, because your shapes and your figures, your body types are completely different. So that's another thing you need to make clear to your client. Some people would bring styles where the waist is cinched in and all of that, and then they will tell you, no, my own, don't make it this tight. I don't want my own fitted. Meanwhile, it's a corset top, right? No, I don't want my own fitted. And you'll be like, okay, how do we achieve this look, the inspiration you have produced, without it being fitted? Like, how is that possible? And then you have people who are shaped like maybe pear shape, where the tummy is bigger, visibly bigger than the bust and the hips, making the waist much bigger. So the long and short of this explanation is understand your body type. Now this is supposed to be for the client, right? Yeah. So as a client, understand your body type and choose styles that would suit you. And then as the designer, you need to communicate styles that, and there's something when someone, maybe what I do is, I feel that's another part of being emotionally intelligent. If someone presents a style that you feel like would not suit their body type, I do not just dismiss them by saying, this style won't look good on you. What I do is to offer alternatives, is to offer solutions that would make it work. So I ask them, what are the things you love the most about this style? If it's the neckline, is it the detailing? I just find out the things that they love most about that style, and I pick it up and I say, you know what, to make this style suitable for you, what we're going to do, we're going to, let's say, do like a peplum on the waistline, so it covers your tummy a bit, and knowing you do not want it to be fitted, we cannot achieve this cinched corset waist, but we can play with the details on the neckline, make it really beautiful, so it distracts from that part of your body that you do not want attention on. So you offer solutions to the client, so they are happy. Not that you dismiss their style and say, no, this wouldn't work for you, you don't look good in this. There are people that are so brash when it comes to things like that. They don't care about how the other person feels when they deliver such information to them. So it's important that you are skilled in how you communicate to your client that a particular style will not suit them, and then don't forget to offer a solution to make them really happy. Like they say, client is king, right? Yeah. So the client, one of the things that would eliminate all of this is, if you see a style from a fashion designer that you absolutely love, you can reach out to the fashion designer and order from them. Place your order there, let them recreate it. But that's not the reality, to be honest, for a lot of people, because these big name designers could be very expensive. So it's understandable that people would want to look for cheaper alternatives. So in looking for a cheaper alternative, let's not be penny wise and pound foolish. Let's look for people who truly can deliver what we want. So one of the ways to find out if the designer you're approaching can handle the project is to check their Instagram handle, if they have one, to see the projects they've done in the past. If you feel like, they've done things even more complicated than what you are bringing, that means they are able to handle such projects. So that's one thing you can do. Check their Instagram handles. And for people who do not necessarily have Instagram handles, it would be nice if you can get like a referral. Yeah, someone who knows someone who has used that fashion designer before. You can get testimonies from them to see if it's something they can do. You need to do all this background work. So in the end, you will not be dealing with what I ordered versus what I got. Because I'm going to put some of the pictures up here, and you would see that some of the recreations are appalling. There are some that are really nice, even better than the original, if I do say so myself. Yes, so that's one thing you can do. Another thing you need to do is to know your body type, know what suits you, understanding your body type. I feel like it's a type of self-awareness, because when you know yourself, you know your body type, you know the kind of designs that you like, the parts of your body you would like to emphasize, the ones that you wouldn't want to lay too much emphasis on, you would know exactly what you are taking to your designer. And then say you see a style on the internet that you really love, you can pick something from one style, pick another thing from another style, and create your own unique style based on your style preferences and your body type. I will not stop emphasizing your body type. Not everything looks good on everyone. Now it depends on how you put it together, how you style it, all of that puts it all together and makes it beautiful all in all. So you need to be aware of your body type and know the things that you love in your clothes, the parts of your body that you would like to emphasize and the ones that you would want downplayed. All that is important for you to note. Another thing I would say is, as a client, don't come to your designer saying, can we manage this? Can we manage that? So for instance, instance, a design was made with organdy fabric. Organdy fabric is more like an organza fabric, but it's different. It has more body. It would hold a structure better. It is just all in all more beautiful, looks more luxurious. And then someone comes and say, if this since this fabric is too expensive, just use organza for me now, or can't you use chiffon? Now when you come up with all these suggestions to the designer and the style doesn't turn out the way you want it, you will not remember. That's why I say it's important to keep record of these things. So when the drama begins on the internet, when people are being dragged about, you have evidences to prove that this is what the person requested and you did exactly what the person wanted. So that's on that with fabric. Then I would say, because fabrics and this sewing and services in general doesn't come cheap, I would say please don't be a cheapskate. Pay your designers well. Just pay them properly. Yeah, maybe I'll be a bit partial here because but it's important that you pay them properly, because if you don't, some people will look for cheaper alternatives in terms of fabrics and even the quality of the work. So at the end of the day, you will not get what you want, and that's not what we want really. So for everyone to be happy, the designer and the client, it's important that we're on the same page when it comes to the style, when it comes to the amount we are paying and the extent of work required. If you put all these together, I believe that you would avoid the situation of what I ordered versus what I got. I hope this was helpful.